Is Ending Fear, the 7R Formula for Fearless Awakening. How to end the blame, shame, and guilt game and recover your joy, power, and inner peace. Wow, that sounds great. He joins us on Author's Corner here on America Tonight with me, Kate Delaney. And boy, we had a great off-air conversation, Tom. Really, we did. And you've pulled this together where you talk about fear and how it arises and how to handle situations. What led you to writing this book? What was your motivation?
Well, Kate, I wrote it because I know firsthand how devastating the effects of fear can be on anyone's quest for long-term happiness and inner peace. As a child, I was terrorized by the recurring nightmare of witnessing the murder of my twin sisters. I had to live with the fact that I had done nothing to stop it. Fear had rendered me incapable of responding to any situation in any way. I was frozen on those steps. To escape from that nightmare has been my quest ever since, and because of this, I've spent a lifetime dedicated to the study of and management of fear. In my book, Ending Fear, I combine psychological, sociological, and scientific research to support the 7R formula for fearless awakening. And that allows myself and others to break free from their fears.
Wow. So what a lifelong journey, though, for you. I mean, to have to overcome that. How, ultimately in doing that, in that quest, that helped you break through to find that peace after witnessing something horrific?
Yeah. Can I tell you another little personal follow-up story on that?
Sure.
Okay. Well, when I was 20, I heard the distant screams of a woman. Now, rather than being frozen in fear, I was able to run towards a high-rise parking structure. I entered that stairwell and I started climbing up those stairs. I heard someone else coming down. As I turned the corner, my eye spotted her face full of terror. Suddenly from above, her attacker entered the stairwell. When he spotted me, he stopped, but I didn't. I was able to bring her back to safety. She was not raped or killed. Those childhood nightmares have long ceased. And what was the difference? Over those intervening years, I had taken the time to face my fears and learn the skills needed to be able to respond differently. Negative experiences have a way of repeating themselves. There's a lesson they're designed to teach you. You are not the product of your past. Just because you can't do something today doesn't mean that you can't do it tomorrow. Realize that your future is not predetermined. Rather than remain trapped in the past, learn to use those past experiences to provide valuable feedback so that you can make the necessary mid-course corrections so that you can create a different future and break that cycle of fear.
Wow, so well said. Tell us about the 7R formula. We're not going to tell everyone everything, but give us some of that so people listening to this can take that away and get your book.
Oh, okay. Well, the 7R formula for Fearless Awakening provides a blueprint and the tools needed to create a thought system that's not based on fear. In that book, I show you how to use the mind science behind fear to overcome your fears and to start living a happier, meaningful life that really aligns with your authentic self. With it, you learn your life's purpose, how the world of perception actually works, your role in what I call the creation cycle, and how to change this cycle and thus eliminate fear at its source. My goal is for you to become the deliberate creator of your own self-identity so that you'll be able to start living authentically with that new self that you envision.
Wow, and what's the power of that? That's that blame, the shame, the guilt game, or cover your joy, your power, and inner peace. And you know this, Tom, that people carry around lots of blame and lots of shame and lots of guilt. And it can be for just all kinds of things that have happened to them. And you found, which you saw how you overcame that in your life, how it really holds you back, doesn't it?
Yeah, the thing that we want you to realize, or I'd like you to realize, is that you're not the problem. Instead, you've been wrongly taught that fear keeps you safe. Your fears only guarantee that you'll play it small. You'll be an observer rather than a proactive advocate for your own life. When you live in fear, you watch opportunities pass you by while you live basically an uninteresting life. You fail to live up to your potential or pursue your dreams. There's never been anything wrong with you, but you need a new plan that stops fear from ruining your life. And, you're made to soar and to break free from the bondages of fear. And I hope this book, and I know this book will do it.
Yeah, for you in writing the book, there had to be joy in that. What was that process like?
Well, the process was actually fairly quick once I realized that that's what I was going to, focus upon. Originally, I was more going to be dealing with creation and how to become the creative source of your life. But I realized that that wasn't the problem. People didn't realize that they didn't know that fear was really holding them back. They've been taught that fear kept them safe. They've been taught, just like I, that I was a worthless piece of crap. And all those childhood misperceptions, missed opportunities for moving in the right direction of your life, you just got all that gunk that you carried forward. So I realized that we had to break that cycle, and people had to know that the problem really all centered on their erroneous beliefs about themselves. So, the 7R formula actually is comprised of 7 steps. And so the 7 steps are realize, recognize relationships, responsibility, reinterpret or reframe, revolt, and restructure. Those 7 key words help trigger an appropriate response to help stop fear in its tracks. The 7 steps really can be grouped into 3 categories. The realize and recognize step deals with the why, who, where, and when questions that must be addressed before you can hope to end fear in your life. The next 3 steps, the relationship, responsibility, reinterpret, all deal with what I call the creation cycle. Life is the creation cycle. It generates all your experiences. Unfortunately, we've never been taught the rules of the game. So you've got to learn those rules so that you can break free from those negative cycles. The last 2 steps, revolt and restructure, provides the know-how to end fear in your life. Revolt deals with the overthrow of your current fear-based thought system, your erroneous beliefs about yourself. The restructure step then will provide a new set of beliefs that are designed to prevent past and remove fears and keep it from arising in the future.
And I love what you said about playing it small and fear and how people rely on fear. But when you break through that, as you told your story of going right into the parking structure and then what happened and how significant that was, and I'm sure there are other milestones in your life, what does that feel like when you're able to shed that?
Well, it's obviously empowering, because now you're able to tap into a creative source that everybody has, but people don't realize that it's there available to them. And why isn't it available? It's because they've been taught to play it small, that their fear are things that protect them instead of keeping them stuck in really that world of not going for your dreams, watching those opportunities pass you by, and always being concerned. One of our problems is the fact that we originally, when we're born, we're born to be learners. And if we look at the research, we'll see that whenever they test children, and the first time they can really test children for creativity is about the age of 4 or 5, 90% of the children, according to the test, turn out to be highly creative. 2 years later, when they retest them, they find that only 10% now score as highly creative. What happened in those 1 or 2 intervening years? It's that they've been transferred from that explorer, that learner, and told that they're an earner and that they need to get the right answer. They're not to explore and think for themselves. They're supposed to regurgitate what they're told. And so they learn to behave, not to do this, not to do that. No, they can't. And so they stop and start falling into a shell, and their fear starts binding them. And they learn that it's not safe to actually try and be your own authentic self.
Wow, perfect place to end this. The book, Ending Fear, the 7R Formula for Fearless Awakening, How to End the Blame, Shame, and Guilt Game and Recover Your Joy, Power, and Inner Peace. Thomas R. Wakechild. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Thanks for coming on.
Okay, well, thank you, Kate.